knew being Fine-Shyt could be a curse? Like, bruh, imagine smelling like fried tilapia every day, to having the whole town foaming at the mouth the next, men quitting their jobs, wives plotting murders. This is not the glow up you prayed for, okay? This couldn't be the pretty punishment Saweetie was talking about. But that's exactly what happens in Beauty by Hubert and Keroscoet, a fairy tale that spirals pretty privilege into obsession, vanity, and chaos. So let's talk about Cotti, the girl who wished to be Fine-Shyt and accidentally broke reality. Tucked in the shadow of a jagged mountain lies a small medieval village. We see a girl fetching a bucket of water in a nearby pond, and this is where we meet our protagonist, Cotti. She's stealing a glance of herself, tilting her head and trying to smile in her best attempt to admire her reflection. No matter the angle, she can't seem to find her best side, and then bloof, a splash ruins her moment. The group of kids are laughing in the background, roasting her all the way back to the village, yelling, "Cotti, Cotti, Cotti." They shove fish in her face, claiming they found her a fiance and to kiss him. Cotti can barely make it through the door before somebody's mama starts yelling at her. Like, damn, she just couldn't wait to yell at her, barely got through the door type shit. Does this lady have beef with the whole town? Are they just hating on baby girl? Because she just can't catch a break, it seems. The burly lady says if they miss the queen's cortege, she'll be in hot water, and rudely snatches the washcloth, telling her not to touch the pail of water or she'll make it stink. We pan to the town's main street where everyone is out with flowers and decorations headed to the ceremony. Cotti, trying to keep some type of hope alive, asks her godmother if she can go, and the godmother, being as shady as ever, says, "You? I'm sure the king would be very disappointed if you didn't come." She instructs her to go home and continue prepping the fish. Cotti drags herself in, and we see a woman cleaning fish. The lady smiles at Cotti, but Cotti is too pissed to notice and snatches up a knife to scrape the fish scales. She cries, and the woman tells her she can go, and she'll finish the fish for her and clean up the mess. And it hits us. This kind woman is her mama, the only person who actually cares about her. Cotti runs up with the townsfolk trailing behind as her mother instructed, and here we get more information as to why Cotti is treated so poorly by the people in the village. Cotti spends her days gutting fish, so much so the smell has seeped into her skin. No bath, no soap, no prayer can wash it off. She stank. The smell is violently musty. She just walks around smelling like 5 cans of bounce that ass left in the summer heat. And it seems like being the town smelly cat is a cruel experience for her. Like, not being attractive is one thing, but her smell seems to anger the people she's around. It's like having that smelly coworker that won't wash their ass, but like it's worse because she can't even control it. In the next scene, we see the queen walking off the ship to the king as the crowd chants, "Long live King Max," and "Long live the Queen of Peace." Cotti in the background has climbed a tree and watches on while the villagers look on. Peter, her godmother's son and her closest friend, smells Cotti from behind him as the commoners gossip. And it's so hilarious because she's so discreet, but like her smell is just so loud that he notices her. One commoner remarks on the queen's beauty and calls her scrawny, while another points out that as long as she's queen, there's no war with the Northern Kingdom. And it seems like there's some real politics at play, where maybe the queen was married off to the king, Max, maybe he forged an alliance, which could explain why they refer to her as the Queen of Peace. After a while observing, Cotti dashes home, lamenting her lack of privilege and wishing she too were a baddie. She walks in, and the mean lady is screaming, calling her an idiot because she didn't light the fire for the feast. She thanks her friend for not snitching on her, and he jokes maybe he should have, because maybe then the ceremony wouldn't have been so boring. Cotti is miserable, expressing that she just wants to leave and go far away. "I don't want you to leave. That's kind, but you'd soon forget me like everyone else." Not true. Who would I play tag with afterwards? We've long since passed that age. We could play something else? So Cotti is over everything. Her grumpy godmother, the mean townsfolk, she just wants to dip, and poor Peter. It seems he doesn't realize his friend isn't for all the childish games. Like, she wants to be booed up, she wants to be somebody's woman, but Peter may have caught the hint with that comment, so is he like shooting his shot? Peter's mom barges in, spiteful as usual, and it's one of the funniest illustrations because Peter is holding this giant turkey leg behind his back, and she looks right at it like, "You mother." And I'm so sorry, but Peter is definitely built like his mama. Cotti lays out her humble milk offering for the fairies, and a stray cat drinks it dry. Maybe the fairies never saw, maybe they did, but either way, the gesture bleeds with desperation. Cotti is at her limit, aching for her life to change. And in stories like this, that kind of yearning always comes with a price. We pan to the next scene as the villagers are preparing for a festival. Cotti's mother adorns her with flowers and says, "My princess, you're as pretty as a picture. I'm sure you're the one our master will choose as the main queen." This irks Cotti's soul, and she sharply says, I know that's untrue. I'm ugly, and nobody will be interested in me, and surely not our Lord. She storms away, furious, and I must say, Cotti isn't cruel, not really, but the weight of her insecurities, they drag her down so much that sometimes she lashes out at the one person who actually shows her genuine love. And it's not hate, but it's surely misdirected towards her mother. The festival kicked off in full swing. The forest is alive, young maidens adorned in white with pretty flower crowns. Cotti is amongst the girls deeply depressed and carrying her sadness plain as day. The elders step forward with milk, food, and gift for the fairies with hopes of favor for a bountiful harvest. In the middle of the ritual, Peter notices Cotti. He sees how dim she looks, how far away she feels. But before anything can happen, a red-haired girl runs up to Cotti flustered. She hides behind her and blurts out, she's ugly, red-faced, fat, and embarrassed. Cotti tries to reassure her that she's beautiful, that it's silly to worry, and then the young man following her swoops in. He grabs the red-haired girl's hand, asking for a dance. The girl, still blushing, jokes, I thought you wanted to dance with her. The boy looks at Cotti and laughs with, Cotti? Are you crazy? And just like that, unnecessary shots. The couple walks off hand in hand, leaving Cotti shattered like some glass on the floor. The crowd starts chanting. She's crying. They trying to make her kiss Peter. Out of nowhere, Peter's mom storms in and snatches him up out the function. Then the Lord shows up, goes right past Cotti, straight for the red-haired girl, crowns her Maid Queen, and then rides off like a discount Prince Charming. The next day, Miss Maid Queen is glowing. Hair done, nail done, everything did. The Lord dropped a dowry bag on her, just to flex a little bit. Her boyfriend is sulking on the steps, drowning. She runs to him, they hug, and it's sweet, right? And it almost makes you forget how messy they were. Cotti is gathering straw when Peter's mom walks in. So it seems you'll be my daughter-in-law? Cotti was surprised and taken aback. Oh, the mom is petty as hell and makes her stand up to size her up. Peter tells her to stop, but she cuts him off quickly. Shut up. She accuses Cotti of using some type of ploy, be it magic or seduction, for her son to want her romantically. Peter tells his mother she's just nice, and again she tells him to shut up. Cotti runs off into the forest crying her eyes out. Not knowing her whole fate's about to flip, she's depressed as ever, and when we pan over to this busted bumpy frog, it's on its last leg. Cotti looks at it and she relates. Pitiful, unwanted, just clinging to life. She picks it up for comfort, holding it close. Her tears hit its skin, and suddenly the thing transforms. A dark fairy crawling out of the frog's body like it was just wearing the skin. She introduced herself as Mab, claims a wicked fairy cursed her, and only compassion's tears could break it. Now she's indebted and wants to grant Cotti a wish. Cotti doesn't even hesitate. Beauty, period. Like periodic, period. And Mab, petty, says, yeah, nature was penny pinching when it came to you. Cotti's like, damn, I know I'm chopped. All the other girls got admirers, and me, nobody. It's not fair. Mab explains she can't change Cotti's actual features because that kind of upgrade is reserved for royalty, but she can change how people perceive her. Cotti's not trying to hear none of that. She's like, no, I need to be a baddie, period. Mab shrugs, recites the enchantment, and flies off in the form of a small bird. Cotti falls asleep in the forest, and when she wakes to birds chirping, she looks at her reflection, and she sees the same old face staring back. Cotti, convinced Mab played her, she breaks down wailing. But the thing about magic is it doesn't show itself right away. So Cotti wipes her face, heads home, and has no idea the village is about to lose its mind. Cotti makes her way home carrying firewood, and the second she steps in, everybody loses it. Who are you? They ask. Cotti insists it's her. Even her own mother sniffed her like, hold on, is this really my child? Cotti explains that a fairy granted her wish, and her godmother immediately hating. You asked for beauty, not wealth. At least that would have benefited us. And to be honest, fair, but still, this was her wish. Then the godmother's husband starts drooling. He compliments her hair. Cotti thanks him, but he's mesmerized, like creepy, super creepy. Tries to touch her. Cotti tells him to stop. He keeps pressing her. Don't be shy. I can see it's what you want. I can see it in your eyes. Beauty like yours isn't meant to be hidden under a bed. Then he snaps, shouting, come here. I'm begging you, you little tease. Cotti jumps back, calling for her godmother, and Sis actually grabs her man like, what are you doing? He yells back, let me go. You're poking my eyes. So she kicks his ass right out the house. Godmother doesn't waste a second. She turns on Cotti, calls her a slut, and accuses her of trying to steal not just her son, but her husband too. Like, the audacity. Cotti's mother rushes her out the room. Meanwhile, the godmother's husband stumbles into a bar. He's still muttering to himself, lost in trance. My gazelle, my angel with the demon's body, don't leave, beauty. The patrons laugh, thinking he's talking about his wife, and ain't no way he's this whipped over her. I'm pretty sure they've seen her. But he keeps going, raving about Cotti's beauty, saying he'd give one hand just so the other could caress her. her. The drunks clown him, saying if a girl like that were in town, they'd know. He swears she's real, but his wife threw him out. Finally, he says, fine, come if you don't believe me. And these horny drunk men, they actually get up and follow him out of the bar. Like, even the possibility of some decadent coochie was enough to drag them off their stool. They walk into the girl's room while she's sleeping and examine her beauty. The moment they glimpse her face, the crowd of drunk hornballs collectively gasp and wake her up. She jumps out of bed in her nightie and they grab her. They all start fighting each other to get to her but fail. They're scrapping. And this is where I get irritated because you can see them gripping her, kissing up her arm. These men, they feel it's their right to claim and own her, and they're so busy fighting, they don't notice that she's slipping through the crowd. Peter tries to cover her and gets knocked the fuck out. One of these freaky ass frogs dive at her like she's a football, grabs her, and sprints out the door like a wide receiver. The village elder comes in and says enough, and I really thought he was going to be the voice of reason, but then he tells them to hide her so the other villagers won't know of her and they'll just take turns with her. Like, ew. They draw lots to see who will go first, and Peter is trying so hard, but they ain't listening to that man. They lock her in the room while they discuss, and a short while after, Cotti's godmother comes in. The villagers' wives snatch her up out the room, not knowing it's Cotti, and ask her who she is. Godmother explains the fairies gave her a gift, and they say, ah, yes, she smells the same. Like, unbelievably shady. How are y'all still so shady even in this moment? The village women gather, whispering about Cotti, deciding what to do. One of them says, I've always kept tight reins on my old man, but since he saw her, it's like he's possessed. They all agree it wouldn't be a problem if Cotti wasn't so beautiful. Another woman mutters, oh, but beauty is fragile. Accidents can happen fast. Then they turn to Cotti's mother. Look at our friend here, one of them says. She was very pretty before she fell in the chimney. She was much more successful afterwards. And it's here we learn more about her mother. Fine-Shyt had her own accident when she was young. She was beautiful once too, until the fall. They believe this is a fitting solution for the problem and approach Cotti with ill intent. Fine-Shyt begs them not to hurt her and says they'll just leave. But this hating ass bitch with the Cabbage Patch mug is like, nah, even if she's gone, they'll still be obsessed, still thinking about her. She walks towards Cotti with burning coal and presses it to her face. But guess what? A bad bitch remains. No scar, no mercy. They gasp and call her a demon as Fine-Shyt drags her out the house. Cotti is hurt but furious and vows to make them pay. So in this moment, she is burned and she physically will have a scar, but because of the illusion, they won't be able to see it. By the time the men return, she's gone, and the women panic because these men want their beauty. One of them even starts sniffing around like a dog, tracking Cotti's scent as they storm into the woods. Fine-Shyt and Cotti climb a tree, trying to escape. So what do the men do? They gather kindling, they stretch out a blanket, and set the whole tree on fire. The flames devour the branches. Fine-Shyt tragically slips and falls. And here's the sick part. These men are right there. They could have saved her. The Lord takes a nightly stroll through the forest and stops when he sees townfolk gathered around a burning tree. What's going on here? Since when do you have the right to start fires in my forest? He barks. He looks up and gasps. Cotti, the baddest of all baddies, in distress. He rushes forward, helps her down, and wraps his coat around her trembling shoulders. Tears streak her face as he leads her away from the villagers. She's hollowed out by grief, her mother gone, her hope fading. The well-dressed man brings her to his castle, carrying her like she might break. In his chamber, he lays her on his bed with the softest care, hands shaking, sweat beading on his brow. Her beauty overwhelms him. It scares him. He closes the curtain but can't stay away. He rushes back to look again like she'll disappear if he doesn't keep his eyes on her. Eventually, he retreats to the doorway and falls asleep there. Morning. Sunlight spills across the room. Cotti wakes, pressing her hand to her head, trying to piece together the night before. He steps into the hall and taps the sleeping lord at her door. Did you stay here all night? She asks. He nods, sheepish. Without missing a beat, she says, where are the kitchens? And heads downstairs. The servants freeze, watching in disbelief as this girl who's carried in like some tragic princess drops to her knees and starts scrubbing the floor. He tells her to stop right now, and she cowers, apologizing. He orders the maidservants to bathe her and find a beautiful dress. They bring her a golden gown that was his mother's when she was young. Cotti compliments the dress. The lord kisses her, then pulls back, blushing. Forgive me, I shouldn't have. I've angered you, he says, stumbling over himself to apologize. I'm not worthy of you. Cotti meets his gaze and kisses him back. As it pans out, we see his mother watching from the doorway, worried he's brought home yet another peasant girl. He asks her name, then shakes his head. It doesn't suit you, he says. I'll call you Beauty. Thus the name is born. Then he takes this long dramatic sniff like he's trying to inhale her soul. I love your scent. It smells like the sea. Sir, please. Cotti starts to cry. Her mother's dead. She feels guilty for being happy, and it makes her think maybe she's a bad person. He tells tells her a face like hers could never hide an ugly soul. He gets dressed to go hunting because they need food. Cotti asks to come, but he tells her no and promises to come back as soon as he can. While she waits, she wanders the castle and tries to clean, but the maidservants stop her. Beautiful women don't clean, they say. They do embroidery. Later, Cotti's sprawled across the bed while the Lord stands there just staring. His gaze is so heavy, she finally asks, "Why are you looking at me like that? Is something wrong with me?" She touches her hair, her ears, her chin. He cuts her off, shouting, "Nothing, you're perfect." And honestly, you can just hear him spiraling. "You're the best I ever had. I gotta get this paper up." He mumbles about not having the words to describe how he feels, but Cotti shuts him up with a kiss, and yeah, she gives him the coochie. Afterwards, they lie in bed. She wishes it could stay like that forever, but he's already jumping up again, saying, "I'm going hunting." Cotti throws a fit. She's tired of being left alone all day. She begs him to stay for once. He says it's impossible. She insists they play instead, hide and seek. While hiding, she explores more of the castle. She passes a wall with an expensive tapestry, catches a few guards staring, creeps up a staircase, and realizes a whole section of the palace is open and crumbling. When she returns, the guards are behind her, eyes hungry. She screams for Otto. Otto rushes in, asking if she's okay, and we see just how run down this part of the castle really is. She says she's fine, but still shaken, asks what's wrong with those men. Otto growls that he'll kill them if she wants, and pulls her close, a little too close. It's protective, but desperate. They sit at the table eating dinner, and Cotti looks unimpressed. She asks what they're eating. He says porridge, no meat. She frowns. Constant hunting starting to wear on her. Cut to morning light. They're heading into the village. Otto asks if she's sure she wants to come. Cotti just smirks. Oh, she's sure. She's vengeful, ready for payback. The villagers spot them, and the godmother tries to act unbothered, holding her chin up like she's not terrified. They tell Otto the frost ruined everything, but Cotti steps forward, calm but cold, and says they're lying because she knows where they hide the grain. Otto's men sees everything. The villagers cry that they'll starve, but Cotti does not care. Peter calls out to her desperate, and she turns eyes sharp. "That's not my name anymore," Otto adds. "You're lucky. If my father were here, you'd be hanging high." And the funniest part, when Cotti turns her face up to look down on them, she looks like a straight Muppet. Like, this is her villain era, and her first ugly moment, in my opinion, is all in one frame. As they ride off, Pygmisha leans towards Otto and says, "You see, I can be a good lady of the manor. Girl, please." Peter heads to Otto's manor and climbs up to get a look at Cotti staring at the stars. He hears a noise and turns, and boom, his friend's right there doing the same thing. Then it pans out and you realize the whole damn forest is filled with men watching her. It's creepy and kind of sad at the same time. There's like all these weird men leaving their wives in the dead of night just to watch her. Like, it's kind of creepy. It's giving obsessed. Cotti goes back inside. Otto's leaving for another hunt and she's over it. She starts complaining and you can tell his patience is running thin. She's whining like, "You don't love me. You wouldn't hurt me like this." She's bored, miserable, acting bratty, and Otto finally snaps. "You're a pain, never happy." She storms off crying. He chases after her, grabs her from behind, and she's like, "Why are you yelling? Why are you being mean?" He tries to fix it fast. "Would a new dress make you happy?" She hesitates, and he keeps going. "A new one, not one of my mother's, or maybe a necklace." Now she's melting. He knows he's got her. Otto starts grabbing all the expensive stuff in the house, jewelry, plates, even that tapestry on the wall. His mom comes in heated, saying he's lost his damn mind. She tells him his father would be ashamed, that he was supposed to restore the family's honor and not throw it away over some peasant girl. Otto ignores her, completely lovesick, and storms out with all the valuables. Here on, Cotti is admiring her newly gifted necklace, and we see a familiar black bird flying towards her. It's the fairy Mab coming by to visit. Cotti thanks the fairy for changing her life and shows satisfaction with Otto. Mab, to the contrary, starts instigating. She says she should be doing much better with the gift she's been given. "Baby girl, your body is tea. There are women that aren't even half as bad as you living in places with ruby floors and thousands of servants." Basically,
"Bitch, you think it's small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big, bitch."
Cotti can't even fathom that things like that exist. Mab just shakes her head, telling her Otto's sitting at the bottom of the totem pole and that she could do so much better. She leaves Cotti standing there rethinking her whole life. Later that night, Otto comes home, dinner in hand. This time, Cotti doesn't greet him with her usual soft eyes or smiles. She's cold, walks right past him and slams the door. The switch up is actually crazy. She turns on him, mocking his title as a lord, saying he's nothing but a vulgar poacher who'd rather see her slopping pig. She says she deserves better, that she doesn't even want him touching her anymore. Calls him pathetic, disgusting. Otto, losing it, busts the door open. Cotti throws herself towards the window, threatening to jump if he doesn't leave. He freezes, then vows he'll prove he's not pathetic. And honestly, I'm amazed this man leaves his own house. Storms out, saying he'll make a fortune and come back to bury her in dresses and jewels. His mom's like, "You can't abandon us," but he just tells her to watch Cotti while he goes to get his money up. And when he returns, he will marry her. Days pass, then weeks. Cotti's stuck at home, bored out of her mind. She asks Otto's mother if she's seen him, but but the woman just blames Cotti for chasing him away. Cotti starts doubting herself, thinking maybe she went too far. Eventually, guilt wins. She throws on her cloak and goes out to look for him, calling his name through the valley. We see her trudging through the forest, messy hair, dirty cloak, hungry, tired. Then Mab appears again, looking smug. Cotti begs her to tell her where Otto is, but Mab refuses, saying she's doing her a favor. Cotti's desperate, pleading with her, but Mab shrugs and says it's for the best. Then she vanishes into the trees, leaving Cotti crying in the dark. Cotti finally returns to Otto's manor, asking his mother if he's back. The woman coldly says no. Exhausted, Cotti collapses into the bed. She wakes. She asks what will become of her now. Otto's mother tells her not to worry. She'll help her find someone rich and powerful to protect her. Cotti insists she wants Otto. The woman says beauty fades fast and she needs to think about her future. Next thing we see, Otto's mother takes her to a painter. The man's grumbling, saying why should he paint her when he's not even being offered bread? Otto's mother tells him she's so beautiful, she'll marry a powerful lord and you'll be rewarded then. He doubts her until he looks up and sees Cotti. His eyes widen. The brush hits the canvas. He paints her all day, all night, over and over and over again. For the first time, Cotti's able to see what she's become reflected in someone else's eyes. But Otto's mother noticed he still hasn't finished. He's pacing, muttering, calling himself useless. Sufficient? That couldn't be sufficient. Beauty's incarnate before my eyes and I'm incapable of painting it? The man's losing his mind. Later, Cotti goes to check on him and the sight makes her gasp. The painter hung himself. Cotti breaks down, blaming herself for his death. Otto's mother, however, doesn't waste time mourning. She picks the best of his unfinished portraits, the one that perfectly captures beauty, and decides to use it to draw suitors. Cut to a lavish castle hall. Otto's mother is showing the portrait to a lord. He squints, intrigued, and asks, does this woman have wealth or royalty? Otto's mother smiles. Beauty is currency enough. Back at the manor, Cotti's looking out her window, and outside there's chaos. Tents everywhere. Men camping out in front of the castle, trying to get a glimpse of her. Otto's mother laughs, thrilled. Ah, what a charming spectacle there. What did I tell you? Have at your feet the cream of the crop, entitled bachelors. Cotti's not amused. She's worried they'll break in. The mother waves it off, saying the castle is impregnable. Even northern armies couldn't break through. She tells Cotti to wave, but outside these crusty men are literally fighting like medieval WWE. Mab pops up, floating in through the window, pleased. She's happy to see Cotti's using her good sense to attract suitors. But Cotti isn't happy. She misses Otto. She can't stop thinking about him. Mab's like, girl, be serious. He abandoned you. Find someone else. Cotti says, what if I don't want to forget him? Outside, the men are still throwing hands. Suddenly, a soldier rides up yelling, in the name of the King Max, I order you to stop fighting and go home. Nobody listens. He rides off, probably questioning his career. Cut to the king's palace. His advisor tells him about the chaos, but the kings in council, half listening to his wife, the Queen of Peace, talk about banning archery. He's nodding like, sure. His sister, Princess Claudine, interrupts, saying the queen's earning their military solve. The queen claps back, saying Claudine only knows how to think of war. Claudine says the queen's making bad calls, weakening their defenses. The king sighs. Didn't you tell me to marry her? And Claudine's like, yeah, but I didn't say give her a seat on the council. It's giving family drama. The king jokes, it's too bad the northern king's already married, or he would have offered Claudine's hand. She's not thrilled, but their bond seems strong. He sends her to the border to handle the chaos herself. We learned that at 18, Princess Claudine had turned down every marriage proposal. Not because she couldn't get them, but because she didn't want them. People called her strange. Her mother died at birth, and her father cursed Mara, queen of the fairies. The fairies, heady as ever, gave Claudine gifts meant for men: intelligence, authority, independence. She's basically born a boss. When she arrives at Otto's manor, her carriage door opens and the air changes. She's all presence. She commands the guard to open the gates immediately. Otto's mother tries to step in, but Claudine shuts her down cold. Cotti is brought before her. Claudine takes one look and says, astounding. She's polite, but her mind's already moving pieces. They talk, and Claudine quickly realizes Cotti's not the brightest. Later, Claudine tells the king the knights have gone mad and suggests he let them kill each other. But secretly, she's thinking, it'll sort itself out when there's only one left. The king decides to go to himself. The second he arrives, the knights scatter. He meets Cotti and it's over. Love at first sight. Claudine introduces her as the cause of the chaos. Cotti drops to her knees, begging for forgiveness. Claudine suggests execution, but the king immediately says no. Tells Claudine to stay with her until he decides. He's smitten. Down bad. That night by the fire, Claudine tells Cotti her brother's clearly fallen for her. Cotti says no way. He's married. Claudine says that doesn't matter. You can practically see the scheme forming in her eyes. Meanwhile, King Max can't think straight. The queen's talking, the baby's crying, and he's zoned out thinking of beauty. Claudine keeps coaching Cotti like a fairy tale dating coach, telling her to play hard to get. The king finally confesses his love. Cotti blushes, says he's married, that people will talk. He calls her cruel, and she says she loves him, but wants him completely or not at all. He leaves, lovesick and confused. Claudine tells her that's good. He's hooked. Then Otto's mother slides in whispering, girl, take the mistress deal. You'll be rich and honored. And I'm sorry, that was just too much for me. Because why did she slide in saying, baby girl, you could be a side chick? Like, you know what I mean? Just, think about it. Like, what? And just when you think Cotti's done, Mab returns again excited. She says she's been hearing all about Cotti's adventure and wants to tea. Cotti tells her she's living her dream, but she doesn't know which way to go. Mab grins. Why be courtesan when you can be queen? That night, the king sneaks back into the castle. He watches her through her window, enchanted. Peter's up in a tree again, creeping as always. King enters her room, kneels, kisses her hand, and vows she'll be his queen. We cut to a huge stone castle high in the mountains. Massive, barbaric man is sparring when a messenger bursts in with news. King Max's sister, the Queen of Peace, was accused of infidelity and sent back with her bastard child. Bro, that's OD grimy. King Max's messenger shouts that it's all lies, but before he can finish, the barbaric king slices his head clean off. The northern princess wastes away from heartbreak and dies. King Max vows to avenge her. War is coming. Back in the north, Cotti asks Claudine if the fallen queen goes back to being a princess now. Claudine says she doesn't have to worry, that her new people will love her. Neither of them realize that the queen is already dead. Then the wedding. The ceremony is stunning. The king's blushing, awkward, nervous. Cotti, now beauty, is radiant in a gown that looks straight out of Snow White. The fairies are summoned to bless the union, and so the fish girl becomes Queen Beauty. Meanwhile, the animal fairies whisper amongst themselves. They know Mab's hand is definitely in this. They can feel the darkness in the gift she gave. Wicked Mab, they screech, flying off into the night. The final panel shows the Southern King's fleet slicing through the waves, heading straight for the Northern Kingdom. War has arrived. And just like that, our little fish-gutting girl went from smelling like the docks to sitting on a throne. But you know what they say. Be careful for what you wish for. Otto's still missing. Peter's still lurking. Claudine's plotting something. And Mab, she's watching, smiling, waiting for the perfect time to twist the knife. Out there on the horizon, ships are moving, steel shining. And the same wish that made her beautiful, it's about to make the world burn. Anyway, that's it for part 1 of Beauty. More of the story. Being Fine-Shyt might just be a full-time job. I'm Asia. This is Nerd School Dropout, where we major in bad decisions and fairy tale trauma. See you in part 2, The Indecisive Queen. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can be on the lookout for the next part of the story.